you, Michael. If Hornaday would leave.
Oh, and around goes the 4 of Ricky Carmichael. He's going to slide back up into the field. Catches Cale Gale. Brian Eichler in the mix.
Miguel Paludo, the 7, is in the middle of that with a lot of damage.
And those guys just had a terrible front straightaway. Hornaday went high. There was plenty of room for Carmichael to run the middle of the road. He got down there with Johnny Sauter, laying on Sauter. And by the time they got to turn 1, excuse me, this was the result.
That's Miguel Paludo in the 7. You can't see him because of the hood accordioned up in front of him. What a disappointing run this has to be for Ricky Carmichael after taking the lead on the restart, getting passed by Hornaday coming into turn number 1, and then sideways he goes into 1.
Look at all the damage to the rear of that monster Chevrolet.
Well, that truck there, the 18 of Brian Eichler, he was all the way up to the transmission underneath that truck.
Remember, we talk about points. This is the truck that's in the battle for the owner point championship with that 2 truck driven this week by Hornaday again.
Looked like maybe Eichler made a little contact with the outside wall early in the going, had to make a couple of unscheduled pit stops, wound up back in the pack and in a crash.
Again, this all took place coming into turn number 1. They're 3 wide there for second, and there was the contact.
Looked like Johnny Sauter came up a little bit. Ricky Carmichael was halfway in the middle of that 3-wide battle. Wow. Look at the damage there when Brian Eichler makes contact with Ricky, and Miguel Paludo also with nowhere to go. He was right behind Eichler.
Did you see how far that 18 truck went up under?
Just about to the windshield.
Yes, sir.
Of the 18 truck.
You can see there, Johnny Sauter angled him, made himself an angle for the turn, and Ricky Carmichael happened to be up above him, making contact and sending Ricky at about 175 miles an hour, spinning down toward turn 1 and all that oncoming traffic. Look at the front of that truck, totally devastated.
The 39 of Ryan Sieg looked like he got run into from behind. He also spun around. There's the initial contact between the 13 and the 4. Now Ricky is along for the ride, trying to hold the brakes to keep that truck down on the bottom of the racetrack. No way he could do it.
You know, Phil, the other view that we had from behind looked as though it was David Starr that was on the outside of the 4, and they made contact. Well, we saw the 13 coming up, and that's what Ricky Carmichael looked like he was trying to avoid.
There wasn't any room for Ricky Carmichael right there. As the problem, Johnny Sauter looked like he came up, as Michael said, to get a good angle into the corner, and there wasn't any room for Ricky.
The whole front straightaway, it wasn't sanitary. They were making different lines and different angles. Maybe Johnny Sauter thought he should have some more room off Ricky.
Let's ride along with the Monster Energy truck of Ricky Carmichael. There's Starr going by on the outside, and there's the contact.
Here comes the contact.
Oh,
again. Wow. So a big hit on the 4 truck.
It turned our lights off. It hit so hard.
It knocked the lights out. This is what Brendan Gaughan saw. We'll ride along with the 62 Big O Tires truck.
Brendan's on the inside of Nelson Piquet. No, that's actually the 32 of Blake Feast.
Listen to Brendan.
He grabbed the gear. He grabbed the gear.
And then he grabbed the gas and said, I got to get out of here. This is serious.
Great heads-up move by Brendan.
Watch this battle. See how they are there. Ricky down low. He and Johnny making some contact, and then that gives David Starr the ability to make that huge run to the outside. And when they got to turn 1, it just tightened up on Ricky.
See, I don't on the outside of him, David Starr, because David got that good run when they were side by side. They were punching such a big hole in the air.